Hello and welcome to Dialogue. On July 1st, Hong Kong celebrated the 25th anniversary of its return to the motherland, and John Lee assumed office as the city's chief executive. How has Hong Kong developed over the past 25 years? How can the city better integrate into the development of the mainland in the future? And how will its new chief executive go about dealing with Hong Kong's long-standing social and economic problems? To find out more, I'm glad to be joined today by Dr. Jonathan Chow Gung San, chairman of Sanwa Group, and also a senior member of the top advisory body of the CPPCC. That's our topic. I'm Xu Qinduo. Hello, Jonathan. Thank you for joining us. Since we are talking about this 25th anniversary of Hong Kong's return to the motherland, so tell us, what are the key moments, key developments, for example, in the past 25 years since its return?
Hong Kong just have completed the celebration of the 20th anniversary of returning back to the motherland. And actually, I still remember that about 25 years ago, there was some magazine feeling that Hong Kong could not perform well. And some even on the cover of the magazine say that the death of Hong Kong. That means that they feel the Hong Kong economy will be turning bad. But in contrary, you can see the numbers of Hong Kong in the past 25 years, a big change. The GDP of Hong Kong has almost doubled. You can see that for the reserve of Hong Kong government. And also the listed company in Hong Kong has increased to about 2,000 number of companies in Hong Kong. All these numbers show that Hong Kong is performing very well. And also the rule of law in Hong Kong also getting better. You see the number of Hong Kong is coming, the index is coming up in 2022. I just feel that Hong Kong has really performed well under the one country, two system. I just feel that Hong Kong, under the unique status and position, we are having the backing of the motherland, and at the same time we connect to the whole world. And we have been in as an international financial center, trade center, and transportation center. All this makes Hong Kong is performing good in the past 25 years. Therefore, we can see that under the CIPA, later on, we have the Greater Bay Area. And also it's a place that we can work well with the Belt and Road Initiative with the motherland. Therefore, I just feel that for the past 25 years, Hong Kong has achieved really a lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned this one country, two systems, for Hong Kong. That's very important. People would say that's the key for Hong Kong's, prosperity, stability over the past 25 years. Tell us more about that and how does one country, two systems works for Hong Kong?
I think one country, two systems is important for Hong Kong because under one country, we are part of China, same as Shanghai, Beijing, and Shenzhen. And under two systems, we are part of the international world. For example, as an international financial center, we are same as New York and London. Therefore, we get the best part of both worlds. Therefore, one country, two systems is very important for Hong Kong. And we can see that for the FDI from Hong Kong investing in China, we are the biggest investor. And almost over 50% of the FDI is coming from Hong Kong into China. And now when China is getting richer, the cash, the investment coming outside from China into other parts of the world, 60% go through Hong Kong. Therefore, I think one country, two systems is really important for Hong Kong and also for China.
Well, some say, John Lee, now we have this new government, led by John Lee. People say John Lee will bring with him, this confidence in Hong Kong's continuous growth in terms of economy and also political stability. Tell us more about this new government.
I think the new government has a big change. Firstly, this new government is under after the completion of the national security law. and also the patriot governing Hong Kong. Therefore, the government today is mainly composed of patriots in the government, and they are working together for good for the Hong Kong. And I just feel that for the new government, John Lee have his own philosophy. It's so-called the result-oriented governance philosophy, and he is willing to change, and also a sense of commitment to do good for Hong Kong. And he is now working well with his whole team, and I think they want to really change the philosophy of the whole government. And I just feel that he's being backed up by the central government, and he has a good team, and he's willing to work together with his own team. And also it is so-called the result-oriented. And I think he is learning a lot, understand what's the need of the people, and then he'll really get things done. That is why I just feel that we have confidence about the new government.
Well, you mentioned about the John Lee's, the approach, results-oriented work approach. And of course, that reminds people of how John Lee is going to resolve these long-standing issues, the challenges of Hong Kong, for example, like housing problem. So in what way do you think John Lee is going to deal with those problems? So, in what way probably he can achieve something previous governments find it challenging to achieve?
The problem of the former government is the decision process is quite complicated. Therefore, what he is doing today is to simplify, to streamline the whole decision-making process for the housing. And I just feel that he will really streamline the whole procedure, firstly, to find more land in Hong Kong, and then build it as soon as possible. And I just feel that with the support of the new government and the new team, and I think it can be done easily. That's one thing. Secondly, the former government talk about the North Monopolis, and that is the whole new territories. Almost 1/3 of Hong Kong is underway to develop a new town. And that area, besides, it will connect well with Shenzhen on the innovation and technology side. And it will be also a big supply of land to build housing for the people of Hong Kong. Therefore, I just feel that there will be a new town coming up, and there's creating new job opportunities and also houses for the young people in the future.
Let's take a look at the economy of Hong Kong. One figure, Hong Kong's S&P Global Purchasing Managers Index, or PMI, soared to an 11-year high of 54.9 in May. Basically the measure, as long as it is above 50, that means expansion of the economy. Of course, in Hong Kong, because of the reduced COVID disruption, so you have this 54.9 as a really strong number. The month of May also marked the second month of expansion for the private sector. So are we going to see, or are we seeing a bounce back of Hong Kong's economy after the 4% GDP contraction in the first quarter?
For the first quarter of Hong Kong economy, I think it's basically affected by the pandemic. Because of the pandemic, many cities are slowed down and or even locked down because of the pandemic, and it disrupts the logistic and distribution system, and the transportation costs and logistic costs all came up. Therefore, it affected the economy. And coming forward, I think we will not only be affected by pandemic, but it will be affected by what's happening in Ukraine and Russia. And this will push up the oil prices and also the commodity prices. And all this will affect the inflation rate. And at the same time, for Hong Kong, will also be affected by the China and US trade conflict. And because of all this, we have to really wait and see. We cannot to be too optimistic about the economy to recover soon in the future.
Well, you are also this permanent honorary president of the Hong Kong Chinese General Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce was actually established in 1990. As you mentioned about these challenges, usually many of them are from outside. For example, China, U.S., this tension between the two largest economies, and also the Ukraine war, which is continuing obviously between the two countries there, and this inflationary pressure basically spill over from the U.S. effects on many economies. So what's your suggestion, if there are any, for Hong Kong to maintain its competitiveness, or to say try its best to recover its economy, or to stabilize the economy, let's say?
I think Hong Kong, firstly, still have to maintain the one country, two system. It is the most important element for the competitiveness of Hong Kong. I've just mentioned, because of one country, we can tap to the domestic market in China, where we have 1.4 billion people. It's a big market and also big resources supporting Hong Kong. And at the same time, we are also working well with the international market. Therefore, Hong Kong can get the benefit from both worlds. That is first importance. Secondly, we have to build an international financial center. For the international financial center, besides the traditional financial side, the offshore renminbi center is important for Hong Kong. And the renminbi is going internationalization. Hong Kong is a good place to help to make it a reality. And also, we have to connect well with the mainland market on the financial side, like the stock connect, bond connect, and also wealth management connect. All this is important for Hong Kong. And also, we have to work well under the 14th five-year plan, where Hong Kong is positioned to be the innovation and technology center. We have to work well with Shenzhen and GBA, so that we can utilize the R&D strength of Hong Kong. And we can, because we got 5 top 100 universities in Hong Kong, which is strong in R&D. And then with this, we work well with Shenzhen and GBA, so that we can utilize the manufacturing base and then build the innovation and technology business. And besides that, Hong Kong is also a trade center. And also, we also have developed on the professional services side, because we are strong in the legal services. Therefore, providing legal service, arbitration center, mediation center, and all this is good. And also, besides that, the central government positioned Hong Kong to be also the IP trading center. All these are opportunities for Hong Kong, and also the rule of law. While when President Xi Jinping came to Hong Kong, he emphasized that still rule of law is important, and we can still continue to use the common law, and that is good for Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned about this relationship between Hong Kong and the mainland, obviously, which is important to Hong Kong in the past, and also, it goes without saying for the future. Officials from Singapore, for example, they often say, for Hong Kong, they have this strong advantage of being part of China, the second largest or the largest economy, depending on how your calculation. So tell us about the trade. Hong Kong works as this super link center, between China and the world. But also, if you look at the relationship or trade relationship between Hong Kong and the mainland, import and export. For example, I think last year, 2021, there's a record high, like 28.9% increase for trade between the two sides. Tell us more about how important is that?
I think Hong Kong is a trade center, international trade center, which is very important for Hong Kong. You see, Hong Kong is a city. We have two types of trading, onshore trading and offshore trading. Onshore is trading with Hong Kong within ourselves, but offshore trading, we are trading internationally without having the goods to go through Hong Kong. Why Hong Kong is strong and important on the trade? Because of Hong Kong, we have the simple and low tax regime. And people would like to use Hong Kong as a trading center so they can enjoy the low tax in Hong Kong. And also, Hong Kong is strong as a financial center. It's easy for you to get the financing in Hong Kong. That's why many LC facilities and lending procedures are all done in Hong Kong. That's the reason why that Hong Kong even though that we are under the pandemic, we are still very good on the trading business.
Let's have a short break. We will continue our discussion right after this. You're also the chairman of the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area Entrepreneurs Union. Tell us, the GBA in the Greater Bay Area, what does it mean to Hong Kong, in particular, I guess, for business community, for example?
GBA is very important for Hong Kong, Hong Kong is only a city with 7.5 million people. Of course, we are strong in finance, trading, transportation, and all this. But we need a big hinterland to work together with us. Before we talk about GBA, Hong Kong has been working well with the Pearl River Delta area. Together, we built part of the so-called the World Factory. And there are so many Hong Kong companies, factories, is established in the Pearl River Delta area. And we recruit more than 10,000 or 10 million employees and workers in the Pearl River Delta area. That's why Hong Kong and Pearl River Delta area has been working together for many years. Now we are talking GBA. In the past, we worked together on manufacturing. We have to upgrade it. Besides upgrading it, we have to work on also the service industry. Now GBA needs the service industry from Hong Kong, professional services. Now the living standard is coming up. They need our architect, our engineer, lawyers, and even doctor. They would like to have a better health care with them. And besides, we are investing and doing business in GBA. We work together to go abroad, so-called Belt and Road Initiative. When most of the GBA companies want to go abroad, they come to Hong Kong and work with us. And then we go together to ASEAN country or to the Western countries. Therefore, I just feel that Hong Kong and GBA, it has to really work together. Therefore, what is GBA? GBA is a 9+2 city. 9 municipal city in Guangdong plus Hong Kong and Macau. Therefore, Hong Kong is part of GBA. And they should know that there are 4 core cities in the GBA: Hong Kong, Macau, Shenzhen, and Guangzhou. Therefore, we are together.
And for the young people in Hong Kong, what are the opportunities for them offered by probably the GBA in terms of their career development, in terms of job opportunities, or even probably possibilities to improve their living standard? For example, housing. You mean even to become a permanent resident, probably in Shenzhen, for example. You migrate from Hong Kong to Shenzhen or other cities in this region, right?
I think the young people in Hong Kong, they are looking for new opportunities. You see, Hong Kong is a bit congested, and it's not easy to get more opportunities because of the rich and the poor and housing problem, and which is happening in Hong Kong. Therefore, many Hong Kong young people are thinking of going to GBA, the big hinterland, to look for the new opportunities. And for the government, both Hong Kong government and Guangdong government have a lot of schemes to help the young people to do business there. They have the so-called the Youth Entrepreneurial Funding Scheme, and also the Youth Employment Funding Scheme. All these are helping the young people. If they do business or work in the GBA, they will be funded and supported by the government. And besides that, I think they have many more preferential policies to attract the young people to study and to work and to build own business in the GBA. And I just feel that in the future, there's a big opportunity for young people to work or study or even live in that area. But the point is, we have to really look into how to attract the young people on the so-called the tax issue, because the tax rate in Hong Kong and in GBA is different. We are talking about Hong Kong people, Hong Kong tax. Therefore, we pay similar tax or the same tax rate in Hong Kong, so that they will attract to study and to work in the GBA.
You mentioned this interesting case. I guess there are similar situations probably in other areas because they have different systems, different practices, even different culture, in a sense. So what are some of the challenges or potentials you needed to deal with, potential challenges, in order to to achieve a better integration of these 11 cities?
For the GBA today, actually, on the infrastructure side, I think it's well established already. For example, the high-speed train, the railroad, the bridges linking Zhuhai and Hong Kong, and for the airport, seaport, all these are well constructed. But the point is how we can really work out for the free flow of people, money, goods, information, and data. You know, today, when we are going to fully integrate with the GBA, can we freely go to GBA every day? Under the pandemic, it's not easy. For the Hong Kong people, in the past, it was okay. But I just feel that they're attracting more talent from not only for Hong Kong, from the talent for all over the world. Therefore, we have to give easy way of going into the GBA for the talents. Therefore, we are proposing that maybe in the future, they issue the green card for those foreign talents who would like to go to the GBA every day. Besides that, goods, I think is important. How can we have the free flow of the goods and also the money? You know, when the young people, they start the business in the GBA, how can they remit in and remit the money outside of GBA? It's not easy. For example, they do business in Shenzhen. How can they remit the money in? And they also have to remit the money outside of Shenzhen from time to time. And also, if they want to get financing, how can they get the financing from Hong Kong? All this is not easy. People, goods, the money, and also the information. We need to have the free flow of the information. For example, Hong Kong young people, they are using Twitter or using YouTube or using Facebook, all this. We need to be freely that we can look into all this information. And now one more is coming up is the data. For example, you have the research in the GBA, how you have the free flow of the data. And also when we need the medical report, medical data, and many more, how can we do it freely? That is what we are going to achieve in the future.
You once said that Hong Kong's economic recovery must be integrated into the country's internal circulation. Can you explain us more about that in internal circulation and Hong Kong's development?
I think that China at the moment talking about the dual circulation is the internal circulation and the external circulation. It is like the number 8. Hong Kong is right in the middle because of one country, two systems. Why we focus on the domestic circulation? Because 1.4 billion people is a huge market in China. And also Hong Kong have a backing up of the motherland. Therefore, we got a lot of resources of different government and provinces in China. Therefore, the support from Chinese government is very important. Therefore, domestic circulation means we can do a lot of domestic business, for example, retail business, distribution, and all this, and also we can do investment there. And at the same time, we can work together with them and go outside. There's external circulation. Therefore, Hong Kong can get the benefit of both the dual circulation.
We'll speak of that, of course, you already mentioned about Hong Kong, the potential for Hong Kong to benefit from Belt and Road Initiative or the 14th five-year plan. Can you talk more about that? For example, 14th five-year plan, what does the plan offer probably for Hong Kong's development?
I think for the 14th five-year plan, it's important that Hong Kong is positioned not only the traditional side as the financial, trade and transportation center. Hong Kong is more positioned to be the innovation and technology center, where it's very important for Hong Kong. Other than that, we focus more on professional services, like legal service. Hong Kong is positioned to be the mediation or arbitration center for Hong Kong. We can provide legal services for the whole world. And other than that, we have the IP trading center. IP trading centers is important because when we have innovation and technology business, IP is important, and we can do the trading in Hong Kong. Besides that, Hong Kong is positioned to be the renminbi offshore hub and also aviation hub. That's important. Hong Kong, the third runway is completed already. If there's no pandemic, Hong Kong aviation industry can pick up quickly. And finally, Hong Kong is not only a place for business, it's a place for East meets West on the cultural side. Therefore, Hong Kong is also positioned to be the China connecting with the whole world on the cultural side, because people-to-people bondage is important.
Well, you know, if you look at the situation like regionally and globally, regionally, for example, there are competitors with Hong Kong, like Singapore, like Shanghai, for example, or even Shenzhen. So what are the advantages of Hong Kong, or what needs to be done to maintain Hong Kong's unique position and competitiveness?
I think the cities like Shenzhen and Shanghai is one side. Another side is Singapore is another side. But Hong Kong, its unique position is we are part of China. Therefore, we are same as Shenzhen and Shanghai. But at the same time, we are two systems. We are with the international world. Therefore, we are same as New York, London, and Singapore. Therefore, Hong Kong has the unique position. Unique position is we are part of China and we are part of the whole world. And the system is completely different. China is socialist country, while the world is capitalistic. Therefore, it's completely different, but we have the benefit and the advantages of both cities. Therefore, Hong Kong is unique.
Hong Kong is unique. Seems like you are confident about, say, next 25 years, you know, under this one country, two systems.
Yes, I'm very confident about the future of Hong Kong, because most importantly, because the success of Hong Kong is one country, two system. And during the presidency's coming to Hong Kong, he assured the Hong Kong people that if one country, two system, if the policy is good, we should continue. No change. We don't need to change anything. And also, he emphasized that Hong Kong have the unique status and position should be kept for a long time. And also, he wanted to keep Hong Kong the rule of law. All this, I think, is important. And also, he mentioned openly that Hong Kong is a capitalistic city, and also at the same time to keep the autonomy of Hong Kong. All this, I think, give great confidence to the people of Hong Kong and also the foreign investors in Hong Kong. Therefore, I have full confidence.
Well, on that note, we concluded today's show. Many thanks to our guest, Dr. Jonathan Chow Gung Sam. You can also find us on the CGTN app or on YouTube. I'm Xu Qianduo. Thanks for being with us. See you next time.